And a 10 fixed Scrap Baby. YouTuber Weirdo Speed makes a lot of speed edits and art based off FNAF characters, one of those being Fixed Scrap Baby. Fixed Scrap Baby looks unsettlingly okay, with no damage but still the same rundown feeling somehow. I don't understand how these artists can capture the perfect feeling for their edits. It's absolutely bonkers to me. And yes, I just said bonkers, deal with it. The bright colors are really something that we didn't get to see with the original Baby, and I think that's why I find it so creepy. That and all these repaired versions seem to have a tighter figure than an actual hourglass, which is incredibly unrealistic. Like, how am I supposed to compete with these unrealistic animatronic body standards? And yes, before you get mad, I'm actually an animatronic, hence why I know the series so well. Why do you think I haven't been fired yet? I'm just a worker robot. I live at my desk. And to unlock number 9, be sure you're using that death coin on that gray subscribe button. Cause you know, if you kill, hit it, it turns green. Is that a bad analogy? Probably. Just like the video if you want more. Basically, it helps a ton. And at number 9, Human Baby. We learned in the original FNAF novel series, as well as in the Fazbear Frights books from what I remember, that Baby can shift between looking like a human and looking like Baby through the use of pin-like parts on her body. I don't know how that works, but okay. But these fan versions of a humanoid or realistic looking human baby make me feel all kinds of weird. Like, I know that there are robots for specific purposes, but man, these fan artists would make a killing in Artist's Alley at any convention. If you know, you know. The amount my internet history is going to be brought up in the future is now unnerving, but out of the ones that are safe enough to show, they aren't like horrifying, but it's still unsettling because, you know, not only does she have the spirit of Elizabeth possessing her, but she also can look realistic as like a human and actually has a soul, but it's the soul of Elizabeth. Just, get it away from me. Keep it away. My heart belongs to Chica. Kentucky! And an 8 Fusion Baby. While I applaud the creativity, these fusions of Baby with the other Funtime animatronics are just pure nightmare fuel. Whether it be putting Funtime Foxy's color scheme and ears/tail on Baby, or just plopping Funtime Freddy's head on her body, the horror that is the Fusion Baby concept shakes me to my core, and honestly, thinking about it makes me want to fall to the floor. It's one of those things where I hate it and it irks me in the worst way, but I can't look away. Like, when you want to watch something that you hate to see if you can handle it and you can't, that's me with these fusions. It's like a video of a spider. I'm intrigued, but I'm also disgusting, so I'm avoiding it. Like, I don't get it. God damn it, why do these work so well though? And it's 7 Adventure Scrap Baby. Look, I get that it's supposed to be just like a little like chibi style Scrap Baby, but if elephants are scared of mice, I'm allowed to be scared of this. And having a deadly thing packed into something that small and compact only makes it more deadly if you ask me. Like, if an immortal snail that can kill you by reaching you is following you, you would be absolutely horrified at every second. Like the movie It Follows, but a snail. That's what I imagine Adventure Scrap Baby to be. Adventure Scrap Baby is a Scrap Baby edit in the style of everyone's favorite FNAF game, FNAF World. And if it was in the game, I wouldn't have played it on the channel. Okay, actually, I probably would have still, but that's because torturing myself brings you enjoyment, you sickos. It's weird, man, I'm telling you, okay? You can't look at that thing and tell me that you're not unsettled. And yes, I took the snail thing from the game $1 Million Butt. And at 6, Havoc Baby. While Havoc Baby would hail from the absolutely satanic Dormitibus universe, the game was made before Sister Location came out, even before FNAF 4. So this is a fan creation based on a fan game that at the time couldn't include this because it didn't exist. But either way, every version of Havoc Baby, I think there's like 4 that I saw, is Baby's head on top of a spider animatronic, and it's not alright. We all know how I feel about spiders. And if you don't, welcome to the channel. Hit subscribe because you already know too much about me. But you know how this would make me feel, okay? If you're arachnophobic, you get it too. Okay, I'm moving on. I can't with this damn thing. Halfway through into number 5, Endo Baby. No, 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 no. That's all I can say about this thing. While Baby may not be the scariest animatronic, at least they aren't whatever the Rocky Horror Picture Show bullshit this is. Removing the animatronic casing from Baby just makes the character absolutely horrific. Why does it need so much interior if it's an animatronic? Just make a freaking normal endoskeleton with a containment chamber for the kid, and then like the grabby arm thing. What's that called? It was like the villain from Black Panther that was killed off way too soon in the MCU. Claw! Yeah, just get the claw. No need to have all these extra embellishments, okay? I get that they have to fit the technology in there, but this is a universe with discs that can change what you see based on sound. They literally made the technological reality stone, but can't make her inflate balloons using a normal endoskeleton. Actually, now that I think about it, that may just be worse. Like, why the absolute hell would you do this in any capacity? Just leave their casing on. Undress it with your eyes in secret like normal people. And at 4, Nightmare Baby. Originating in the fan game Baby's Nightmare Circus, at least I think, or just being the basis for it, Nightmare Baby is pretty damn spooky. Being the likely originator of the stomach mouth present on the other Nightmare animatronics already made the thought of her as a nightmare terrifying. But throw in the classic Nightmare rundown aesthetic again, despite the being a plastic casing like Nightmare Toy Chica, and the countless sharp teeth in the animatronic mouth, and this thing will make you see stars. Oh, and adding the nightmare look to animatronics that can already move their face was bad enough, but thinking about it, or actually seeing them move their face to reveal a nightmare endoskeleton is even worse. Like, I'm rocking back and forth right now trying to make sure that I'm not sent into a panic. Why do I do this to myself? Like, these lists are my fault. Why? Should just give them to Amanda. And at 3, Ignited Scrap Baby. Again with the fan versions based on fan games. This time, however, we have the Ignited Scrap Baby from The Joy of Creation, a fan game in which you play as Scott Cawthon after ending the FNAF series, ironically now, since he's announced his retirement, and the animatronics that you've created come after you in the real world, hence the name Joy of Creation. However, Baby isn't present in that game either, but after seeing these versions, she should have been. Scrap Baby is already a scary animatronic, and with the addition of the ignited look, this queen is serving Halloween runway realness. But seriously, it's actually terrifying and feels like this is what would happen if Baby survived the FNAF 6 fire, and learned that she was in a game and then went after Scott. And honestly, with the way that this series is going, that could be possible. And this version of the character might even be added in the Joy of Creation Ignited collection coming, thanks to the Fazbear Fanverse initiative, which would be absolutely nuts. And at 2, Nightmare Scrap Baby. Yet another Nightmare version of Baby, however this time it's Nightmare Scrap Baby, which makes this thing one of the scariest versions of Baby to date. The variety of Nightmare Scrap Baby is incredible. I think that's something that we can all appreciate. The Scrap animatronics offer such a good variety with how they can be created, since they just throw themselves together with whatever they can find, so the nightmare versions always work so well, and different people find different things to be nightmare fuel, and that's what they showcase in their art. Sometimes that claw thing is huge and looks more like an endoskeleton, sometimes the claw has like an extra small part inside, giving it basically like a goblin shark mouth, you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes there's a stomach mouth, other times there isn't, and at points, it can literally look like Pennywise on every controlled substance known to man. The beauty of variety is really spicing up life, and this list. Finally, in at number 1, Sinister Circus Baby. The Sinister animatronics have become somewhat of a staple on these lists for me now, and it's clear why. While the original Baby was sinister in scheme, this one just looks like it's going to rip your guts out and get inside you, and not in the fun way. The real look to these kinds of things is basically a repaired nightmare animatronic, with a clean exterior, but the sharp teeth of a nightmare. I'm not sure if this is another fan-made character based off a fan game, or if it was going to be in the main game had it released, but at the very least, Sinister Baby is based on the unfinished and unreleased fan game Sinister Turmoil. And while we did get 2 basically demo games to play before the game was ultimately cancelled, we never got to see the animatronic in action, and at least if it wasn't a fan making it, like a fan of the fan game, you know? It's terrifying, it's horrific, and it's our number 1 for sure. And at 10, Rockstar Ard. I don't really know what to say about this version. It's just kind of Enard with a star on his chest and then maybe a little shorter with an unproportionately large head. And I 100% spelt that wrong in my script. Unproportionately is definitely wrong now that I'm looking at it. But I don't care, auto captions is gonna fix it for me. But still, there isn't really much difference with the Rockstar version if I'm being totally honest, which is why it's so high on this list, but it's still creepy, since like I've established in other videos, incorrectly proportioned heads give me the creeps. Like when I was talking about the original images that Funko leaked of the security breach animatronic figures, thus resulting in design changes. Yeah, but seriously, what the hell, guys? Why? Why did you just add a star to his chest or his sternum, I guess, and then make his head bigger? Like, that's just, it's messed up and hella weird. But don't worry, it gets weirder. And before we move on to those weirder things, especially number 1, because holy Jesus crisp, be sure you're hitting that like button if you love the FNAF content, because it lets us know what you want to see more of and helps us against the algorithm almighty. It would really help me. Okay, I'm sorry. And at 9, stylized Enard. What if Enard was remade by the Galactic Federation in an effort to take down Rick Sanchez? That's basically how I see stylized Enard, at least when he's black and red. The sleekness that gets added to Enard honestly makes him much more intimidating. Like before, much like myself, he was a mess, just a hunk of robot flesh with no true purpose, something that he just threw together in an effort to be able to stand. However, when stylized, he has his figured out. No more seemingly random wires, no more being an absolute dumpster of robot parts, and instead, he's on a mission. He wants to get inside you and take over your body. Wow, I never realized how much of a creeper this dude really is. At least when you put it like that and don't take into account the context of the games. Imagine walking up to someone and just saying that and not describing that it was a robot trying to steal your body. They'd think you were talking about the government. Too much? And at 8, Diner Enard. Michael Afton, the boy who lived, come to die. And I'm not even making a joke, this 100% looks like if Enard were Voldemort and then watched one too many makeup tutorial videos on YouTube. And when you see it, you will absolutely agree. This is the beauty YouTuber of animatronics. If James Charles, Jeffree Star, Tati Westbrook, and Nikki Tutorials, I think that's their names, had a love child with all their combined genetics and lack of eyebrows, this is what would happen. This is the face of my nightmares. This is the one who is truly behind Dramageddon. And if none of you understand this, this number is truly lost. But I guarantee you 1000% that what I'm saying is absolutely perfectly accurate, even if you don't understand it. You need to trust me. I think I've earned it at this point, unless you're new here, in which case, hi, hit subscribe, you'll enjoy your stay. Aha, look at that segue. Can Enard turn into a segue? And it's 7, Buff Enard. I looked this up as a joke because buff helpy, and it turned out to be a thing, and it makes me upset. This can either be Enard with just more endoskeleton stuff, like wires, tubes, tentacles. I don't know what to call it, but that metallic stuff on his insides, but more of it, making him look more muscular. Or it could be adding a shell onto him and then giving him a Speedo, and that's the more popular one, unfortunately. And there's one version that gives him a skin tone, okay? It's messed up. Why is this a thing? Why did someone subject me to this? Because now you have to see it. It's just, I don't know what else to say. This is nightmare fuel. At least, as much nightmare fuel as Buff Helpy. But you know what? I think I prefer Buff Helpy to this. At least Helpy is nice. He doesn't want to kill you or shove himself inside you. Wait, that sounds weird. Anyway, he just wants to jump in balls. Okay. A ball pit. He just wants to jump in a ball pit. But Buff Enard just makes me feel uncomfortable. It's like that one time I went to the gym all over again. And at 6, Scrap Enard. What the ever-loving hell is this monstrosity? Originally, this was at number 10, and then I moved it to number 8. And then, after looking at it again, I moved it to number 6, because what the living There are so many versions of Scrap Enard that I just don't understand how Enard managed to be even more Scrap-like. Enard is the reason for Scrap Baby already, and Molten Freddy is best described as a scrapped Freddy or Enard. So in a way, Enard is the reason for the Scrap animatronics, but the amount of variety with these creations is insane. Some have claws, others have a more rundown mask, and there are a couple that are the absolute pure embodiment of terror. There's nothing that is Enard aside from the party hat that is even visible, and instead it's covered with the various other fun time animatronics, including Bitty Baps, which just makes me think that this guy is using babies as armor. And that's very Rick and Morty. I like it. Halfway through into number 5, repaired Enard. Usually most of Enard's scare comes from the fact that he only wears a mask. Other than that, he's just bearing all of his endoskeleton out for the world to see. If you got it, flaunt it, right? Well, after getting used to seeing Enard without a body, adding one on just makes me feel all kinds of weird. And not how, like, I feel weird when I see Toy Chica. Or when I'm playing Fury's Rage as Chica. Looking at these, I feel uncomfortable. It's like that one relative that you don't really like, but you still need to deal with around the holidays or at family reunions, if we remember what those are like. But like, sure, Buff Enard was the same way, but that was mostly comical. This is unsettling in the worst of ways. Like, is it just me? Am I the only one who feels like this? Please validate me. Actually, knowing the comments, they're going to say that everything from this list isn't scary, so why am I bothering? Yeah, I'm looking at you. In at 4, Ignited Enard. What happens when you retire a game series after just 2 years? Apparently, you get attacked by your creations who aren't happy with being discontinued. That's the premise for the Joy of Creation, a fan game featuring ignited versions of your favorite animatronics. And while the game does currently only contain ignited Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy, with the Joy of Creation Ignited Collection, thanks to the Fazbear Fanverse initiative, we could be seeing Ignited Enard come our way. I mean, I doubt it, but it's possible. Joy of Creation is known as one of the scariest FNAF fan games, so seeing Enard as an ignited version is damn horrifying. The lack of jaw or other appendages, depending on the artist, is certainly something that I would like to avoid if included in the next game. Like, what the holy Jesus crisp is that? Our Lord and Savory. And at 3, Nightmare Enard. The beauty of nightmare versions of animatronics is that they can be anything. There are plenty of directions you can go because everyone will consider different things to be nightmare fuel. Some are very clearly in the style of other nightmare animatronics, some are a spider-like version that's hunched over and wider than they are long, some have more limbs that are combined with other animatronics like Baby or Funtime Freddy to create a unique nightmare appearance. You can lean more into the clown aesthetic, or you can go a million miles north and do something that nobody else has done, because that's the beauty of it. That's what makes this kind of thing fun, and in doing so you make something that not even Scott himself would have thought of, and that's kind of beautiful, isn't it? Even if all these versions are making my red pants brown and causing me to black out a little bit. Penultimately, in at number 2, Sinister Enard. As per usual on this list, we have the classic Sinister Enard, based on the fan game Sinister Turmoil. I don't think Enard actually was meant to have a character in that game. According to the official Sinister Turmoil fandom page, yes they were, but there's only like 3 images of them and they don't really show much, so most of these versions, while there would have been a Sinister Enard had the game released, appear to be fan-made. But these fan-made versions, Jesus, if it's not even Enard anymore, it's the Terminator. The sharp teeth, the visible interior, the mask, it's entirely ruined or just not, and that's equally still creepy. In one of them there is even actually like a body to some of it, but it doesn't matter because Sinister Enard is an unholy abomination that even Satan wants to send away. I also accidentally spelled Satan like Stan the first time, so I apologize to any FNAF Stan or person named Stan. Or any combination of the two. Although I have to be honest, the FNAF stands aren't always the kindest bunch. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. This thing is a horrifying monstrosity that should have never been created. Although it does look pretty sick, so good job to whoever made these versions. Finally, in at number 1, anatomically correct Enard. Okay, no joke, I find this thing absolutely terrifying, like a realistic metal zombie in a way. Anatomically correct Enard is best described by its name. It's a version of Enard where the metal parts that surround its body, its Enards, I guess, are actually anatomically correct. So there's more around the chest and they're in the directions that your muscles would be under your skin, and that makes it horrifying and terribly uncomfortable to look at, especially his face. I don't know what it is about this Enard's face, but the mask, like without the mask, he just looks like the terrifying villain of a Scooby-Doo movie, but more realistic. Like if the latest iteration of the Scooby Gang with Robbie Amell as Fred Jones had gotten a 3rd movie and they actually tried, this is what it would be. Why was this necessary? Who felt compelled to do this? And why did you subject me to it as well? Because again, now I need to subject everyone else to it, and they're gonna say that it's not scary. What do you expect? They're fictional characters. If you want something actually scary, go check out Most Amazing Top 10. They've got like haunted mirrors that will kill you if you look too close. And if that's not a video already, I'm sorry to whoever will now have to make that video. If this is anatomically correct, does he have a sphincter? And should he have a...